Why, hello everyone. We are here to discuss my 2024 language learning goals. But before we get into that, we're going to see how many goals I actually accomplished from 2023. So I had a lot of plans for 2023 that I did not get to. I planned to read this book series that had about 12 books. Now I actually did accomplish that goal and did a mix of Spanish and French to finish all 12 of those books. I also promised myself to do a lot of German lessons, which I did some German lessons in conversation, so I guess that counts. And I also went to Berlin to speak it, so we're just gonna count that. As far as the other goals that I had set for my 2023 video, that was pretty much it that I had accomplished. I did not do any B1 Russian test. I didn't do any textbooks or finish any for Arabic. In fact, Russian and Arabic were not focuses of this year at all, it turned out. I only read about 50 pages of the Harry Potter series in Italian, which is still a great win. It didn't turn out to be the way that I preferred to maintain my Italian over time this year. I also did no journaling in German, and I didn't really do any Turkish either. So while I didn't meet a lot of 2023 goals, accomplishments that I wasn't expecting were starting Chinese, which was like the biggest emotional and mental barrier in language learning for me. I also did an interview completely in Turkish, even though I would not consider myself even a high intermediate at this point. Still had a lot of fun and I could still communicate, which I am celebrating myself for. Plus, this year I've been able to connect with so many other amazing language learners, especially like you out there who have reached out to me through me making this channel. And that's one thing that I do want us to remember, right? Because even if we do have certain goals that we set even a year ago and we didn't meet them, that does not mean that we haven't met others. There's still value in that. So as we go into 2024, I do want to take both the C2 level German exam as well as the C2 level Italian exam. I feel like I've reached a point where I want to just simply enjoy languages that I already have an advanced level in and just kind of have an excuse to go back to them and really enjoy them in their fullest. And I haven't been doing that because even though I do love learning new languages, obviously I have different points of the day where I can integrate language learning, but that is limited time. So I would always want to devote that time to learning new languages or improving intermediate languages instead of enjoying what I already love doing in my advanced languages. And in a way, that is a form of rest, not always feeling like you have to hurry to get to the next language or get to the next proficiency. And the fact is, I've known both Italian and German over 5 years each now. And I just feel that I am emotionally ready to actually take an exam of that caliber, both linguistically, but as well as emotionally. So that feels really good to say. And I'll definitely be updating you guys on that and how I'm prepping for that as the time goes by. I also plan to find a C1 level textbook for French and start going through some of that, as well as find a C2 Spanish textbook. Now, I have no idea how much I actually want to do of these textbooks, but I do want to find one and just see how far I can go within the year. And if anything else happens on top of that, that is just a bonus. And for Chinese, I simply want to expand outside of Pimsleur. So for those of you who have been following me about learning my heritage language, I have only stuck with Pimsleur. I really enjoy the program. However, there are only 5 levels, so I do want to start branching out a little bit more. But as to what, I'm not really sure. And you can also check out updates about learning a heritage language in the description because it is definitely different than the normal language learning journey that I am usually on. I want to approach it in a very self-compassionate and gentle way. That process is not hurried at all. And with that, that'll give me a lot more time and room and just less pressure to process all of the messy emotions that go into learning a heritage language itself. But expanding outside of Pimsleur is pretty doable for that. Also, low-key, you guys, I have decided to do a little bit of dabbling in Brazilian Portuguese and Korean, surprisingly. So I have no idea where I'm going with these languages. My goal probably for next year would just be to get through the rest of Pimsleur and just kind of see where I go with them. I don't know if I'm continuing with them after finishing that program, but that will keep me on track for the rest really of this year. And yeah, I'm excited. I've never really dabbled in any languages before because my perfectionism always told me, you have to get to an advanced level always before you start with the next language. And that is not a truth for me anymore now that I've built down some more of those mental barriers that were preventing me from doing what I really wanted to do, what was most authentic to myself and how I am in this season of life. Excited to update you guys about that progress. And notice that I have not set goals for each of the languages that I know. I think it's very important for me to set my minimums. So things that I know that at the bare minimum in a year, I could definitely do. And I know in my heart that I am ready for. And the minimums really adhere to what I stand for and what my values are that I know. And by sticking to these minimums, it just relieves a lot less pressure from me, because again, this is the language learning journey where I'm guessing you are also in it for the long haul, and we are trying to make it as sustainable and as joyful as possible. I talk a lot on my channel about a lot of self-compassion, a lot of mindfulness, and the growth mindset. I really advocate now for this year not really even caring as much if I meet those goals. I definitely don't care about meeting those goals as much as I do about investigating really what kind of person I become by setting those goals. What can I achieve? Even how will my mentality continue to evolve? How will my momentum change depending on what season I'm in? What patterns will I find and identify that can help me on my language learning journey to make it as sustainable and as joyful as possible in the process? January 1st also isn't some kind of magic number. You don't have to have any goals at all. You can set your minimums like I did for this year that you know are extremely doable for next year. You can shoot as high as you want for whatever goals you would like, or you can set no goals. There are no true strings attached to that. I also would like to encourage everyone to think about what kind of language learner they were last year. We're all older, we have more experience and more data to get to know ourselves even better. The more that we get to know ourselves, the more fulfillment we'll have, the more grounded we are, and language learning is a great tool to figure all of that out with. So those were my very simple goals for 2024. Write me in the comments if you are setting goals or not for the same year. Make sure to give a like and subscribe if you do want to keep up with me, if you want more self-compassionate and mindful reminders and insights to give you more confidence on your language learning journey.